Hi again, and welcome to our web series broadcast. Today it's called Cooking with Spinach. Welcome back to my kitchen. And back here today is my associate, Erin. And today we are going to learn about how to cook with spinach. And we're also going to incorporate this red leafy green Swiss chard. So we're going to be cooking with both of these items today. I decided that today was a good day to talk about spinach because, as you know from last time, I am expecting a little one, and iron is a very big part of that. And we need all of our iron in order to prepare for motherhood. So to keep us not being too tired when our babies are born, we need to make sure we have enough iron in our bodies. So what we're going to do today is talk about how maybe we can get some of that iron from the foods that we eat and things that can enhance the iron absorption in our body. Now, I know I have a lot of patients that come into my office, and most of the time they want to know, well, besides from taking a supplement, what can I do? Supplements can leave patients feeling digestively not so great. They can cause constipation, they can cause straining, and sometimes patients just really can't tolerate them and wind up very nauseous from iron supplements. So we have to amp them up and try to figure out ways to do that via our diet. So sometimes we do smoothies. Sometimes I tell them to cook in iron pots, like iron skillets. And other times I tell them to add some things like Swiss chard and spinach to their diets in order to get their iron stores up a little bit. Now, there are some things that can inhibit our iron absorption, and there are some things that can actually enhance our iron absorption. So we're going to talk about that today. And my associate, Erin, over here is going to give us a little bit of background on iron. So that way we know why we're making this dish today to nutritionally give us enough iron that we need in our day. And tell us a little bit about iron and why it's so important for us. Erin?
Okay. Well, like Teresa was saying, iron is really important. It is considered a mineral that is naturally found in foods. Naturally found in foods like we have here. Swiss chard and spinach and various other foods. It's either added to foods or food products can be fortified with iron. Now let's back up for a second. Iron is part of hemoglobin, which transports oxygen from the lungs to the tissues in our body. It's necessary for growth and development. Now, there are two types of iron, heme and non-heme iron. Now, you're probably wondering, what's heme, what's non-heme, what does this all mean? Well, plant and iron-fortified foods only contain the non-heme iron, whereas the lean meats contain heme iron. The richest forms of heme iron are found in lean meats and seafood, meaning we absorb more iron from animal sources than we do plant sources. Now, we still can absorb the iron from plant sources, fairly well. Consuming one thing that would help that absorption would be vitamin C. Now, where do we get vitamin C? We get vitamin C from things like lemon, oranges, and a variety of other things. So when you're making green leafy vegetables, you can squirt some lemon on it, or you can add an orange to quinoa or kale, amp up the flavor and amp up the iron absorption of those things.
So today we're going to be making a spinach and Swiss chard saute. And just to make it a little bit more interesting, to give us a little bit more for what our body needs, I'm going to actually put it over a bed of quinoa that I already prepared. Now, quinoa is actually a complete protein. So those of you who have never had it before, it's delicious, and it takes on a lot of the different flavors that you add to it. So if you add something like a lemon, it's going to have more of a lemony flavor. What I did today, I'm going to bring it right over here, is I already made the quinoa ahead of time. Quinoa can take anywhere from usually about 15 to 25 minutes. The reason being is when you're cooking quinoa, first you get these little seeds, and I'm going to show it to you right here. Okay, and this is what it looks like in its raw form. You see, it's it almost looks like little seeds that you would plant in the ground, right? Now, this is red quinoa. I chose the red quinoa because I thought that, you know what, let's give this dish a little bit of color. Now, if you look at this quinoa, this quinoa over here is nice compared to what we just showed you. It looks nice and fluffy. Look at that. And it's nice and red and vibrant. And I cooked this, instead of just cooking it in water, I decided to use chicken stock, okay? And I have chicken stock that I make here at home. And what I do is I just, normally after I cook a whole chicken, I'll just boil chicken with, you know, some celery, carrots, and onion in a big pot for a few hours and make a broth, and I store it in the freezer for a while. And every time I need some chicken broth, I'll take it out and defrost it. So that's what I did here. Now, quinoa, when you're cooking it, again, it's a 2-to-1 ratio, just like rice. So you're gonna have 2 cups of your liquid to 1 cup of your dry good, which is the quinoa. You wanna make sure that when you're cooking it, you get it up to a boil. It has to be a rapid boil, okay? When you get that boil, you turn it back down to a simmer. You let it simmer for about 15 minutes, okay? And periodically, I open up the lid and I will fluff it with a fork. And this is how it's gonna come out. See how nice and fluffy that is? This is what you want to see. When you still see it looking like this, you know it's not ready yet, and you have to leave it to cook a little bit more. But make sure you turn it down to a simmer because you don't want it to burn. So like I said, quinoa, we're using that today because it is a complete protein. It contains all of your essential amino acids, which is great, especially if you're looking for a vegetarian dish to add some iron and protein to your diet. This is a great dish that has everything for you. So we're gonna put the quinoa, I'm gonna put it right over here because that's the bed. So we already have that set up. Now, if you want further instructions for cooking the quinoa or today's recipe, please visit our blog. And our blog is at www.digestivediseaseny.com, and I actually posted the link at the bottom of the page. So first things first is we are gonna get our pan started, okay? So I'm just gonna come over here real quick and start the heat going. What we're gonna use today is, you can either use olive oil, you can use coconut oil. I'm gonna use coconut oil. I know from our last lecture, you probably remember me talking about the anti-inflammatory properties of it. And that's why I use it. I like to use it in cooking, and it also does have a high smoke point. So if I'm sauteing anything on the stove, more likely than not, I am using olive oil. So I'm only gonna use about a tablespoon. Okay, got that. I'm gonna put that in here. We're gonna let it do its thing. Next thing I'm gonna do is start to get the Swisschard ready. Now you wanna do the Swisschard before you do the spinach. Reason being is, you see these stems? A lot of people get rid of them. Why get rid of them? They're edible, they taste fine. They give nice color to the dish, so why not use them? But you don't want to put them in at the same time as you do the leaf. The leaf is going to cook much quicker. So what I'm going to do is take some of these stems, and we're just going to pull them out and put them to the side here, okay? And what I'm going to do then is just chop them up real quick, and we're going to start sauteing our stems. This dish is going to be delicious. Now, I know a lot of you think, oh, I'm gonna cook this dish and look at all the green. And some people are scared of green. If it's green, they think that their family won't eat it. This dish has so much flavor in it, your family is gonna love it. My son loves it. Sometimes it helps too to get kids involved. I know a lot of times I have my 5-year-old come up, and he takes a little plastic knife and he helps me cut. And he helps me cut the vegetables up, and he'll help me grate ginger and things like that. And it kind of gets them involved. And the more involved they are, the more likely they are to actually eat what we're giving them, okay? All right, so now we got all of our stems right here. So as you can see, I separated them. There's still a little bit of leaves, it's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm all for things not being precisely perfect.
And look at all those colors. Like,
and it looks so pretty, right, Erin?
Yeah. Who would think this would be a green?
So as you can see, it's a really rough chop. You want it, if you want this chopped even finer, you can. It's totally up to you. But I'm just doing a really rough chop, okay? And then I'm gonna take my handy, see, this is easy. Get stuff right off the counter for me, right? Without making a mess. And I'm putting it right in the pan. Now we're gonna turn it down just a little bit, and I have Erin over here stirring it for me. Now, as she's doing that, okay, we got to get the rest of our greens ready. So how we're going to do that is I have spinach over here, okay? This is fresh spinach. I actually bought it at my local grocery store. Our local grocery store is Adams, and I went there today, purchased some fresh spinach. I rinsed it, okay? And then I made sure I dried it because you don't want to have a lot of liquid in here. If you have a lot of liquid in here, if you're sauteing anything on the stove, you're really going to wind up steaming whatever you're sauteing. So you want to make sure that you dry it off. So as you can see on the bottom of my bowl, I put some paper towel. And I've been drying this for a good about 5 minutes so far. So now the spinach is all dry. It's a nice bunch right here, okay? I'm going to take it, and you'll see it really quickly. I am giving it a quick chop. Now, I'm taking the stems of the spinach out over here. We don't really need them. We already have the stems of the Swiss chard in here, okay? Now, as you see, we have all the spinach all nice and chopped, right? It's very rough chop, very quick, very easy. There's about 2 cups here. I have a little bit more over here we're going to finish up. Okay. Now, remember, I'm a mom of 2 with another one on the way. I'm all for quick and healthy dishes. You don't want to make things too complicated. You make things too complicated, and guess what? You're going to wind up not doing it. We don't have the time. So now I'm going to take this spinach, okay, and I'm going to bring it over here. These stems have been sauteing for about 2 minutes, okay? So that's great. 2 minutes is a good amount of time. We started that cooking process. So now we're going to add the spinach in. Now the next thing I'm going to give a rough chop to is the Swiss chard that we took off the stems from before. And again, it's a very, 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 as you can see, rough chop, okay? Nothing crazy. You don't need fantastic knife skills to do this, okay? One of the things I do always say, though, is what helps you in the kitchen to make things go very, very fast is to have good knife skills. The better knife skills you have, the faster things are going to get done. When I was in culinary school, I taught my sister-in-law how to use and cut an onion properly and how proper knife skills help, and she thanks me to this day. She loves the fact that she has good knife skills because it makes things go really quick.
And making sure they're sharp, right, Teresa?
Exactly. The sharper the knife, the better, because if you have a dull knife, you're actually more prone to cut yourself.
Yeah.
The next thing we're going to do, okay, is we're going to put some fresh ginger in. Now, ginger is one of those things that people are kind of like, ooh, do I really want to put it in? How do I use it? This tool, this kitchen tool, costs $10 anywhere. You may be able to get it cheaper. It's called a microplane. Now I use this a lot. I use this a lot for my garlic and my ginger to mince it really quickly so I don't have to sit there and chop, 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 chop all the time. I can do this in a matter of seconds, okay? So we're going to watch. I have my bowl right here. I have my ginger. Look how quick that goes. You can't get easier. And I like a lot of ginger. So I'm going to grate about a tablespoon in here, okay? Now, some people don't like as much ginger. They don't want that gingery flavor. Sometimes they find ginger can almost give like a spice to it. So they won't put as much. So you can decide how much you want to do. Ginger is one of those things too. Of course, being pregnant, I know all this stuff. Also, being a dietitian helps as well. But ginger is something that we use to settle our stomachs. I know I use this for my second pregnancy all the time. I was steeping ginger in tea. I was eating ginger. I was eating ginger candies just to try to help with the nausea. So if you are suffering from that, please, I understand, and go get some ginger. So we're going to add that tablespoon of ginger. Okay. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my microplane again. Okay. I'm going to bring it over to the stove real quick. Okay. And why I'm going to do this, I'm going to grate 2 cloves of garlic. Now again, I use the microplane instead of doing the chop on the stove. Just as easy to do it with the microplane, okay? So as you can see, really quickly, that's 1 clove. 2 cloves of ginger, already done.
Look at all those nice colors in that dish.
How fast was that? And yes, this dish is full of colors. You know what they say is you want to eat the rainbow? You really do want to eat the rainbow. And this dish has it. This dish gives you everything. Well, I know when I was trying to figure out the nutritional value for this dish, I think this dish was going to give you about 8 grams of iron per serving.
Yep.
That is a lot of iron. When you're thinking of just somebody who needs it, general run-of-the-mill, you need anywhere between, for men and women, we're going to average it out, about 17 to 20 grams. Pregnancy, you need about 28. I can know that off the top of my head. But 8 grams just in this one side dish, you can't go any better, okay? So we're going to let this cook up for a minute, okay? We're going to bring it back over here, and what we're going to show you is, remember how we talked about citrus, right? Citrus increases the absorption of iron. Our handy dandy lemon over here. Now you always want to make sure when you're going to juice a lemon is you're going to take it, okay, and you want to roll it. You want to get all those juices so they're going to come out, right? You don't want to have to sit there and squeeze, right?
Right, that makes it a whole lot easier. Get all those nice juices in there.
I think that's good. And what I also want to do is I'm going to get a little dish over here, and I'm going to take a zester. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of this lemon zest because I don't like to waste a lot of things. And lemon zest is just going to, I think, enhance this flavor even more, this dish. So we're going to get the lemon zest. I'm going to put it in there. And we're going to add that in at the end. But what I'm going to do now is take my lemon. And we're going to add the juice of a lemon to this dish. Now, you see I'm squeezing it up. I'm squeezing it this way. Don't squeeze it this way. You squeeze it this way, what's going to happen? All the seeds are going to go into your dish. Don't do that.
Then you'll be tasting lemon seeds.
So I got 1.
And just like we talked about earlier, she's adding vitamin C to this wonderful green dish.
Okay, and we got 2. Okay, so we got a whole lemon squeezed in here, okay? The hands smell nice and lemony now. What we're going to do to give this dish a little bit more is I'm going to add just a pinch of lemon zest to it, just to give it a little bit more of a lemony flavor. So we have some lemon flavor, we have some ginger, we have some garlic flavor going on in this dish. It's packed with iron, it's packed with protein, all vegetarian, okay? And all a healthy dish. You want to do meatless Mondays? This is a great way to do meatless Mondays. You want to do meatless Wednesdays? Do meatless Wednesdays. Meatless Thursdays. Today's Thursday. Whatever you want to do. And I always think that it's important, especially when we have kids. I always talk about kids. I'm a mom. To introduce them to different flavors. These flavors are different for them. These flavors will actually maybe get them interested in trying new things. We shouldn't have chicken fingers on the menu every day. We shouldn't have pizza on the menu every day. We should try to get into our kitchen and make things that are a little bit different for our kids. Have them try it. Have them pick a new vegetable a week. When I have kids in my practice who don't come in and don't want to eat any vegetables, their mom's like, they won't try anything. I always say, take your kids to the store with you. Take them to your local grocery store. Have them pick 1 new vegetable and say, you will try it 5 different ways this week and you'll help me make it. That'll help them actually get into it a little bit with you and maybe get them to try it. Why not? It won't hurt, right? Last 2 things we're going to add is fresh ground pepper. I got this fancy little pepper mill from my father-in-law, and it grinds things so easily, and it makes it this nice, see how coarse and nice it is, and it smells so fresh and so good. So we're going to add that to it, a little bit of pepper, and I have a tiny bit of salt over here. I don't like to over salt things, so There we go. That's all done. Now I'm going to get 2 dishes because what cooks would Erin and I be?
Yeah.
We didn't try, right? We didn't try what we were making. So like I said, we got to have this over a nice bed of quinoa.
Yep, Teresa, this looks like it's all set to go.
All set to go. All right, bring it over. And let's get... Let's pour that in. Looks great. Okay. So that's all we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed our show today. We will be doing this again in May, and we're going to be talking about how to build a healthy salad.
Yeah.
Because salads, you know what? Salads can be 1,000 calories if you let them. But I think we need to make it that these salads are actually going to be healthy for us, but taste really, really good too. Packed with a lot of protein and packed with a lot of other nutrients that our body needs. So I hope you join us in May for our next web series. Please visit our site, www.digestiveddiseaseny. There you will find my blog post. And on my blog post, you will find the recipe for today's show, as well as how to cook quinoa. So until next time, remember, keep it healthy and enjoy. Cheers.
Cheers. See you next time.
So good. Bye.